Hi everyone, today is June 24th and we are about to do a bisque. We're preparing for the Girdwood Forest Fair that's coming up, and our bisque is simply the first firing. After this we will glaze and decorate them and then do a high fire, and this is a gas reduction kiln and we use propane. So we're going to close this up here in a moment and begin our firing. A bisque takes about 10 to 12 hours to fire, depending. They actually take longer than a high fire, but use less fuel. You just have to take more time during the firing, and then they have to sit overnight and cool off, and in the morning you can open them up, let them cool a bit more until it's time to unload them. Usually takes about an hour or so to unload, depending on how fast you are. The kiln shelves are kind of heavy, so the kids can't unload that portion, but they can pull out a lot of the pots for us. I sign each piece. First I lay out what goes on each shelf. As you can see there in front of me, that's how they'll be laid out inside the kiln after they have been glazed and decorated. And then I go back and sign each piece. Aaliyah, my eldest daughter, was a great help this year. Here's waxing the bottom of pots, and she took part in almost every aspect of our production this year. Really helped things go a little bit faster, and she's been doing a great job. It's also good to spend a good amount of time with her during the summer this way. Once all the pots are glazed and decorated, then we load them into the kiln again and proceed to do a high fire. A high fire takes anywhere from 6 to 8 hours to complete. And then again, you have to let it sit overnight and let it cool, and open it up in the morning and let it cool some more before you can pull them out, because they're just still too hot.
So this is how we glaze platters. We take a finished mug and pour it like so.
Hi.
Here's the first high fire for getting ready for the Girdwood Fair. There's also some orders included in this that we need to get done. So there it is before we have unloaded it. Overall, I'd say it looks alright. There's a few things here and there that I'm not totally happy with on the outcome. Here's an example of something that I'm not overly happy with. That is this right here. Unfortunately, it was close to the burner here, so the flame got to a little bit. Sometimes this happens, sometimes it doesn't. And as you can see, it makes this pattern here. So this will be a second due to that. Otherwise, it's a nice mug. I enjoy how certain areas of the kiln oxidize versus the reduction that I'm normally getting. This is, nicely reduced, and right here, this green it turns into is where more oxygen got to it, so it oxidized that portion of the mug, and I definitely enjoy that variety. on some of these. We mix our own glazes, and here Mara is putting together a glaze. I'm not sure which one, but we definitely go through a good volume, so you end up having to make glazes throughout the year, throughout the summer, throughout production periods, and it definitely takes up a bit of time to do. We let the pots dry, sometimes under a fan to get them go faster, depending on the weather, so that we can meet our production schedules, and then things glazed and getting them ready. Alright, this is our second bisque of the 3 that we're doing in preparation for the Girdwood Forest Fair. As you can see, it came out nicely, it looks like. I'm going to go ahead and unload it, and then we are going to be loading a high fire. And this will be our second high fire for the coming show. Here is our second high fire for the coming Girdwood Forest Fair. Finally got it loaded. So, there's flame going on our high-tech lighting system. There we have it. We fire to cone 10, so it gets rather warm in there. Cones are the way that we measure the temperature in our firings. Overall, it's looking like another good firing. We'll see if there's anything broken. There's a spoon rest that's kind of boring. I mean, there's very subtle color in there, and I do like the subtlety, but I do wish there was more color in this one as an example, and that happens due to the different glass that's put in. You never really know how it's going to turn out. Here is another example. This one has more color, and I like it better. And this one has a nice pretty green. So that one's nice. This one's a little.
There goes the beast.
Close it up. Okay, look. Yeah, you want me to put you in it? Then you have the way of the door. This is the outcome of the third high fire, getting ready for the Girdwood Forest Fair. So far, it's looking good. We'll find out as we open it up. Well, as we unload it. And then we have to load another bisque. We always have some breakage in almost every firing. This one, the lid stuck enough to the rim that trying to open it broke the rim. Here is our bisque that we just finished loading up. This one, we have finished unloading that high fire, and now we've loaded a bisque. And as you can tell, we can stack things and shove things in there as much as possible. So this is a piece that broke during the last bisque that we unloaded. Right here, what happened is, when I fold this over for a mixing bowl, see that little air pocket there? Sometimes that stays. Zoom in for you. So sometimes that air pocket stays there, and the air, as it gets hotter, expands and blasts outward. And so that's what happened in this one, unfortunately. was a nice bowl until that happened. So anyway, now it'll kind of sit around until I decide to glaze it. I have room, and at best it is now a second, unfortunately. I'll load it up. Give it a go.
Why don't you do that with your dominant hand?
My daughter is going to attempt to light this, which apparently is difficult. I'll spread it around, get it lower, all the way around. Alright, go ahead and put it in there. All the way in, where that opens. Got it?
Yep. You're in the way.
Here Aaliyah is doing some decoration on some mugs. We call this the April collection, named after a student of my father's who did something similar to this, and we took it and run with it. And it is an abstract form of decorating on the bare clay. Here is our fourth high fire for the Girdwood Forest Fair. We're going to unload this and load in one more high fire and fire that today. So it should be interesting to see how everything has come out. Alright, this is the final high fire for getting rid of me for the Girdwood Forest Fair. I have to grind the bottom of a lot of the pots because of former little splashes of glaze or bits of clay. Body gets stuck to the kiln shelf and then sticks to the pots even though we wax the bottoms. So you want to get rid of them because they're sharp and they hurt and they would scratch things up. So just grinding them all off with this grinding wheel gets rid of them. It still leaves a mark, but it's nice and smooth and doesn't harm the piece of pottery whatsoever. Due to the fact that our shells are old and not exactly cheap, I probably have about a quarter to a third of every firing needs some attention on the grinding wheel, unfortunately. Every so often or buy a few new shelves and trying to replace the ones that are super bad. As you can tell, a lot of grinding. Here's the final high fire for getting ready for the Girdwood Forest Fair. I'm going to open this up, see how things came out. Hopefully it came out well. And then we get to price, pack, grind. We'll be taking some videos of all that stuff. Now it is time to pack the pots. That takes usually at least a full day since there's so many pots to pack. and get them all into boxes and ready to go for the fair. It really is a full family team effort on everything that we do around here. Here is our work truck that we use for pretty much all of the fairs. This year, however, my parents lost the keys, and we did not realize that until the day before we needed to go down to Girdwood to set up the fair. So we had to borrow my father-in-law's truck and use it instead. This is our back drive that I'm driving up right now with the truck loaded with pots that we're then going to redistribute into multiple vehicles and get all the rest of the booth stuff into this truck for the trip. This backtrack is just kind of hacked out of the woods. Used to be a path. So driving it is definitely entertaining, and you have to take it slow. Once it's all packed, we strap it down nice and secure using various ropes and come-alongs and straps, and definitely need the dolly. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and we'll be seeing you soon.